What's up, guys? I'm going to be doing another support and resistance video today. Wanted to add some to my previous video and just make it a little better. We're going to be looking at some OTC, some small caps, and some large caps today. Some 1 day, 1 minute, all different kinds of charts. We'll be looking over it all. So to start, we will be looking at JPEX. This one has a clear resistance breaks on pretty much every single start of its runs, and those resistance breaks end up turning into support. You can see the first one right here in this range. Next run starts, and you get a nice support bounce off of that, which was old resistance. Next run starts, and that old resistance turns into support, which that was that previous bounce that we just got at 0.0148. One key thing that I will probably talk about a lot in this video is how double bottoms always turn into double tops. The only way to prevent this is resistance breaks. So right here, after a nice double bottom, this is a great entry point on each level. Now we got a double top, and right now JPEG's sitting at a tough resistance at around that range. If we get a breakout though, maybe even get a nice move back up to that 0.04 range. But JPEG's chart is it's very clean. It's had the same moves pretty much over and over again. Big move, down, big move, and then back down to that support. Big move, back down to support. So we'll see if we can get the next leg of this cycle. Cavar is one of the ones that it broke down on a previous support, came back down to the support level at 0.02, and pretty much the support level. All I found this was by this old resistance when this run really started. Where did this start? Well, it started right at this 0.02 range, and that's exactly where we bounced. So this is when you want to start getting your shares, want to start collecting some right there. We got resistance back down at this point, and of course that old support at 0.03-ish is going to turn into resistance, and that's what Cavar is facing right now. It wants to go back up to that 0.03 range. If we can get a nice move past that, we might be able to get to the resistance zone of, I'll say that because there seems to be some clear resistance at 0.05 and then some more at 0.06. So that zone seems like the breakout zone. If we can get past that, it's clear skies. Aether is one that I was day trading the other day, and I was day trading and I was looking at some of these. Sorry, I wasn't day trading. This was the one I was day trading. I was sitting on the sidelines for this, but I was watching it. Pulled up the chart after hours and saw this. This was making clear moves, resistance break back down to support, just over and over again, resistance break back down to support, resistance break back down to support. Plenty of opportunities here. Same thing here. Once you got a double top, though, that's when you want to get out. Plenty of opportunities over and over again for day trades, even if you're just trading for a couple ticks. Do that over and over again. You do it consistently, you'll be able to get something out of that. And of course, some moves will break out bigger than others, and that's what you're trying to find. You have no clue how high it's going to go, but give it a chance. CivX, next one. Of course, these resistance break are a lot better on the 1 year charts. The support bounces can get you a lot better gains, but you got some 0.0038. You're getting out of all the way back up to the 5.8 range. Is hitting 6.4, over 100% right there, pretty much. The last resistance break it saw at this zone, it went all the way up to 0.085, so had a nice bounce right here. I'm looking for that same point. Of course, we got it right there. Anchor VWAP also acts as a good support. When you see a nice, which is already looking like a support, and you get that anchor VWAP support as well, your chances are pretty good. You're gonna get a little bounce there. Of course, not everything is going to bounce though. BZWR is one that I was betting on would bounce. We saw a nice move right here. We saw a nice move right here. Nice resistance break right here. The line just doesn't go that far. Down here, kind of down here. Broke through support. Oh well. Support bounces are nice because you cut your losses as soon as they break through that support. You don't have to worry about it. Okay, you know your stop loss already before you enter the trade. CYBL, similar setup to JPEX, that old run when it really started on that resistance break, is going to act as support. This is one of my favorite setups for OTCs, that old resistance now acting as support on maybe that second leg. So this was a nice one. You could have added around that 0.02 area. You're getting out at that 0.03, quick 50% gains. GHAV is what I'm eyeing right now as support bounce. It's seen nice moves around this 0.0144 area in general. It's had some nice bounces over there, and of course right here. So it's looking something. I'm looking at not much downside. The risk reward looks very good for me here, and the next support is only at it's only at 0.072. Only 50% downside. I guess that's a lot larger than it looks, but definitely one that I've been scaling into at that range. XTRM, another one. This one I was actually gonna make a video on. I really like the DD on this, but the 1 year chart looks amazing setup. Hasn't really seen any downside. Yeah, hasn't seen this. The lowest has been since December 20, which of course we are now in December 21. So definitely an interesting setup here. Last one was up to 0.0159. Apple was one. This one will be more of a trend line bounce. We saw trend line resistance on this, and we saw trend line support. Bulls won on this one. Once you see that resistance break, that's a perfect opportunity to take a position. You can just ride that large candle out. Even same thing for short. If you're going on the short side on this, you see support bounce, you get that big candle right away. But Apple saw a nice bounces off these trend lines. So I'm going to adjust this line out like this. Nice bounces off this trend line, and that bounce ended up being large. We got a nice move from the 150, 148 range all the way up to that 180 range. So nice moves to be made, even on large caps. These moves can last months. DKNG. These trend lines can be nice, but of course, just like all those support bounces, they can fail. A lot of times you're looking for that second or third bounce off the trend line. Once you get into the fourth, fifth, sixth range, you're getting into a lot of danger, and especially when you see consolidation like this. This is DraftKings right here. As you can see, I was looking for another trend line bounce. I was betting on this one to fail. And ended up going back down to the 30 area, but whenever you see consolidation around the trend line, it's usually not good news. It shows that it's getting ready for a breakdown is what it's telling me. It's not respecting the trend line, because true trend line bounces, you'll just see straight spike down, spike up. And this one also was the 1, 2, 3, 4. This was the sixth bounce. So the chances of it bouncing, they decrease every time. So your chances of getting that sixth bounce are not very high. Especially, you have to look at the terms of the market conditions. A lot of if the market's not looking too good right now and you're sitting right at that support, maybe don't take a position in that. That support could be willing to fail. All right, next up, Fubo, something that had a nice little support bounce recently. Started its run right there on a nice resistance break in the 16 range. Had a nice bounce right here. Down 6% on Friday, but still that support stands, and as long as the price remains above support, I'll stay bullish. D was a nice trend line support bounce that I was over on Twitter about. For large candlesticks like this, I usually don't like to use the bottom just because there wasn't much volume going down to these last ticks right here. Maybe it was down there for a couple minutes or something, so I'm not going to use that as the general trend line support. Made a nice move from the 70 to 76 range, just off what trend I saw and where it looked like it was going to be bouncing. ISWH, another example with trend line. Resistance right here. You can see that old resistance. Once it got a resistance break, it was acting as support. It broke below that support and headed right to that trend line on a nice clean bounce. And it looks like it could be breaking through that resistance at 2. It did break through that resistance of the 1.5 range, and it's heading up to that $2 resistance. What we saw over here was acting as resistance, had some nice support bounces, and then fell below. AVCT was another example of one that I day traded. For this one, it was looking weak into this channel, and I was looking to add where it previously took off, and of course, it dropped right down to that 2.6 area, which is exactly where I wanted the shares. Made a nice move up to the 3. As soon as I open any chart that I am day trading, the first thing I will do is draw support and resistance, and I want to give myself a good idea, draw a little box or something of where I want to enter this trade out, where it's in my buy zone. FBCD, another trend line right here. squeezing between the trend line and the AWOP. So let's see if we can get something going here. We got a nice bounce right here, kind of right there in this area. Seems like it's kind of been on a downtrend, so we're looking for that move back to the 0.018 range. Ever good example of a double bottom, but of course double bottoms turn into double tops. So this was a very clean double bottom, almost identical moves on both directions. So right at that 12 range, you're looking to pick up shares. You're getting out at that resistance, or you're starting to scale out. Maybe you want to check the strength if it's looking really good. They got a press release coming up or something like that. Maybe you go for the home run, but usually you want to start scaling out as you get to those resistance. WW. And as you might notice, what I like to do is I like to draw the support as solid. Sorry, this one is actually reversed. I like to draw the support as dashed lines, and I like to draw the resistance as solid lines. One thing you'll learn as a trader is that usually they don't like to work in your favor. So these resistance are a lot harder to get past, which is why I like to draw them as a solid line, and the supports break very easily, which is why I like to draw them as a dash line, because it's what the reality is most of the time. Just to remind yourself that it is never 100% whenever entering a trade. Powell, one of my favorite long terms, go back to that. At a nice support right now. Nice bounces off here, back down to that 6 area. This is where I'm looking to add 6 to that. Maybe 5.2 range is looking like my buying range. APTY, another trend line bounce on this. It was more the candle on this one that kind of sold it. Lower wick down. So, and it's kind of still at that trend line. So it's definitely still a place I'll be willing to add. And of course, you're exiting anything below that. You're getting out pretty quick, keeping that stop loss fast. That's about all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys are using all these different strategies, and every single one of your trades. Support resistance are definitely the most important when it comes to either day trading or finding a new swing position, even finding a new long position that you want to find the perfect entry on. Support resistance will always be your friend. Have a good weekend, guys. Thank you.